Good evening. Okay, I'm not doing that. I thought I would share my evening program with you. I'm the Hooded Lid, and welcome to my channel. Before I get started, let me tell you a little bit about my skin. I am aging, and I feel that my skin is pretty normal. It's not dry and flaky, but it has a tendency towards dehydration, and I'm concerned about dryness right now. It is 94 degrees and bone dry, so I'm really feeling it. But generally speaking, I just feel that my skin isn't producing the ceramides and the hyaluronic acid and the oils and the collagen and the elastin and all the juicy good things that your skin produces when you're younger. And of course I have wrinkles. In case you haven't noticed, I've got some pretty astonishing crows. That's my skin type. I think this program actually would work for most anybody's skin type, but you be the judge of that. First thing I'm going to do is kind of a pre-cleanse. Take a couple of cotton pads and some micellar water. I have mascara on today, so I'm first going to kind of soak the eye area to loosen up that mascara. I prefer to use micellar water to eye makeup remover because eye makeup remover is so oily. I feel like I can't see well for a good half an hour after I use that. And then I open my eyes and kind of lay my lashes on the cotton so I can work those pads through. And then I turn them around and just hit the face. There you go. I find when I do this, I can use less of my oil, and I can make this oil last for about a year. I just take one pump of the oil and massage that into my face, and then I will go into the bathroom. But I'm a little weird about how I wash. I wanted to share it with you. I get my hands wet, I emulsify. I get my hands wet, shake off the extra water, and go back again, and I do it 2 more times. Really working the oil into the skin and removing all my makeup. And then I do a final rinse. And then I go in with my second cleanse. So I'll be right back. I'm back. Immediately after I wash my face, I pat it dry so I don't get the transepidermal evaporation. And then I go in with my essence. I just want to soften the skin up and prepare it for my first serum. So at night, I like to take off my makeup as early as possible so I can let the good stuff, the treatments that I'm going to use at night, have some time before I go to bed to sink into my skin. Because I am a side sleeper, I want to get as much nutrients as I can before it all transfers onto my pillow. So tonight I'm going to do several Osmosis products. I don't use them every day. In fact, every day I do a slightly different treatment for my skin depending on what I feel like I need, how much time I have, how early in the day, and if I've done any other treatments. So I have a laser, a Tria laser, and I also have the New Face, and I also have microneedling. If I do one of those, I'll definitely do this, which is a stem cell, but I might not do some of the other things. So let's go in with the stem cell, and it's just 1 pump, pretty easy. I haven't been using this a long time. I used 1 bottle of it, and I thought, well, I don't really know if it's making a difference. And then I went a couple of months without using it, and I decided to reintroduce it because I'm getting older, and I'm not too happy about it. After that, I'm going in with 2 other products. One is the AC11, that's their C product. It's very odd and almost gone. It's kind of very, 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 very dark. This apparently is C that has already oxidized, so you don't have to worry about it oxidizing. It's already done it for you. And then I'm going to go in with, try to do half a pump, but didn't quite make it. And I want to do half a pump of this one. This is their Correct. This is the retinol, because apparently these are very concentrated and you don't need to do a full pump. I just find it's hard not to. Rub this into the skin, and then you're supposed to use the activator. So this is the activator. It's almost gone, so I'm just trying to, might have to cut this. I'm just gonna take some in my hands. So this is way more than I need. And then you're supposed to just work it into your skin. And I'm definitely getting under the eyes and around the crow's. And just keep on massaging this for a while. I used way more than I usually do because I took the cap off, because the sprayer isn't getting those last bits. And that's my Osmosis. Now, between these three serums, I'm getting also some peptides and some niacinamide, so those that I usually use during the day, I don't have to use at night. If I'm not doing the Osmosis products, then those are the serums that I would be using instead. I do want to double down today, because it's so dry, on some hyaluronic acid, even though there's hyaluronic in this. This is not a serum, but it's certainly a serum weight. It's from Hada Labo. And I just work that into the skin. And then I follow up with a lotion that is both hydrating and moisturizing. Just this much. I like to follow up my hyaluronics with lotions that have some moisture in them, so the hyaluronic can pull that moisture into the skin. The next step might sound a little strange, but there's a reason for it. I go in with the Laneige Cream Skin. This is very watery. It's an emulsion that you don't really need to shake, but I do anyway. And normally you wouldn't do something this watery after a lotion, but there's oil in this, and I feel that this is a little occlusive. And I just want to start locking everything in now. And my next step is the Liquid Gold from Stratia. This is what I consider the product that locks everything in. It mimics your skin's barrier, so it has all 5 ceramides, omega fatty acids, and cholesterol in the correct ratio and pH. And I just want to lock in all of these great serums and the hydration that I've just put on my skin. And then from here, I just wait for a little while. I want the Stratia to sink in for a bit, and it will. I'm usually a little tacky after I put this on. In about 10 minutes, I won't be. It's pretty early in the evening, and I don't expect I'll go to bed for maybe 4 more hours. And it wouldn't be unusual for me. Maybe in 20 minutes, I'll put on my moisturizer, and then maybe an hour after that, I might put on an oil. And I might just keep on adding things in, especially since it's so dry right now, and I really feel that I need everything I can get. So I will be back in a little bit to show you what I'm doing next. So it's been about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and everything is kind of sunk in. And now I'm going to go in with my moisturizer. This is actually a manufacturer size sample, but I have the big jar and I just put it in here so I'm not constantly opening the bigger jar and exposing it to oxygen. And I kind of take a big hunk. This is a really interesting texture. It's a little bit gelatinous, but I love it. I used to dot it on my face and then smooth it out and feel that it kind of breaks down, or it kind of liquefies in a way. I can't explain it, but it's just as delightful just on your hands, and it feels so good on the face. I've been using this easily for 3 years, and it never fails. Every time I put it on, it feels so nice, so soothing, and so hydrating, and a little moisturizing. It's a little more hydrating than moisturizing, I think. I don't think you can judge what something is doing for you based on its thickness. I sometimes see people comment on the Sephora site, oh, such and such a, moisturizer is so thick, and there are a lot of thick moisturizers out right now. They're thick, but they're not moisturizing or hydrating. They're very odd. This one is moisturizing, but I feel like it's a little more hydrating than moisturizing. and put it on my lips because I'm so dry. It won't take long for this to feel like it's sunk into the skin, unlike the Stratia, which really needs a little bit of time. So I could go in with an oil on top of it right away and just kind of call it an evening. I don't use oil every night. It just depends on what my skin is up to. But right now, it is so incredibly dry. I just want that softening that oil can offer. And I like this BioSense. I've had it for a while and I never really used it. But for some reason, I'm just kind of pulled to it right now. It's one of my more thinner. Does that make sense? One of my more thinner? It's one of my thinner? Okay, it's late. It's not as thick as my other oils. And really, with my other oils, 2 drops does it. I think you don't need to overdo it with oils. But since this one's thinner, I'll do 3 drops in between the hands and just kind of pat it on. And I might do another layer of this a little bit later. I haven't put on an eye cream because eye creams are just, my eyes are my biggest problem. You probably have noticed. I have crow's and I have puffiness and lines here and a deeper trough, and I'm hooded, of course, but I haven't really found a great product for the eyes. So I tend to just get everything around my eye area because Lord knows I'm putting a lot of good stuff on my skin. I may as well get on my eye area too. One thing that I do kind of like, but I'm not sure if it's a game changer or not, is this Cora oil. It's really interesting. I actually sometimes put this on over my makeup. The first time I tried this, I thought, well, this is going to be a disaster. But it wasn't. It didn't break up my makeup, and it helped to just plump everything up a little bit for a midday refresh. So interesting because oil is not hydrating. So the fact that it would plump everything up is really a mystery to me. And that's going to probably wrap it up for me. I may do one more thing before I go to bed because I still have several hours. But generally speaking, this is one of my evenings. I always want to have an antioxidant at night. If I'm not doing the C again, then I might do something like this coenzyme Q10. And I always want to have a retinol product. So in addition to the Correct, I have another one by Osmosis. They've just changed their line. They used to have 3 levels of retinaldehyde, and now they just have 1. So the Correct, I think, is a little lower, and it's hard to know because if you go to their website, it says something different than other places you go to. But now there's just 1 on the market. And then I also use the Drunk Elephant Retinol product, which is a 0.1, but that is retinol, and that needs to be converted twice before it's bioavailable to your collagen receptors, where the retinaldehyde only has to be converted once. So you can imagine some level of efficacy is lost from 2 conversions, and less is lost from 1 conversion. So I'm kind of into the retinaldehyde right now, and the only brands I know that use retinaldehyde are Aven and Osmosis. If you know someone else, please tell me, because I'm really interested in getting my skin acclimated to a real retinol routine. I have been doing the Drunk Elephant for almost a year now, and I do like it, but I feel like it's time to pump things up a little bit. I'm not sure that I will ever be able to do a Retin-A because my skin is sensitive, but I want to do the best that I can, the most that I can, especially since I am ancient. I don't like to say my age out loud, but I am past mid-50s. And I have not had any Botox, I haven't had any filler, I haven't had any laser to speak of. About 2 or 3 years ago, I had a series of 3 pixel lasers, which are fairly mild. They're non-ablative, and they are supposed to help with collagen. But that's really it. Well, except maybe 15 years ago, I had a series of lasers. I don't know what kind, but to get rid of my capillaries, and it was very successful. But the doctor said, look, if you have a proclivity for broken capillaries, this won't last forever, it will come back. And indeed they have. But that's it. That's all I have. I'm depending on my skincare to take care of my skin, to hopefully help with the collagen production and keep things up as much as I can. There's certainly things I cannot control that probably require scalpels, like I've always had a weak jawline, always. But now I'm feeling like I'm getting a little jowly. I've got the eye issues. I'm trying to make informed decisions, use products that have ingredients that are proven to be helpful to the skin, put back things into the skin that my skin's not producing as much of. But the idea is to do the best I can with the tools that I have, and that is Google and my brain. And watching other women on YouTube and doing a little bit of reading and trying to see what's going to work best for me. And I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you might find something that would work for you. I don't think that this routine specifically is just for people my age. I think you could take away from this several steps at least. When you're in your 30s, maybe you have oily skin and you might want to skip the oil, for instance. You might want to change the moisturizer, for instance. You might not want to layer as many emollients as I like to do. But hydration is for everybody, whether you have oily skin or not. That's, I think, really important to put in your routine. And yeah, there you have it. That's my nighttime routine. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. And yeah, I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. In the meantime, I'm wishing you a great evening. Sleep well.